are still things that have not been discovered on this patch. Combinations, play styles, even with all these new items. It takes a lot of time and a lot of data to be able to really test that stuff properly. So,
by the way, I do have one thing to say about Gorillaz-Pride.
Okay.
Out of all the players in the lower division, their carry is the highest MMR of the entire lower division. Our boy Timo, not a lot of people actually know much about him, but this guy, probably the highest skilled player right now.
And what's his rank? What are we looking at?
He is ranked 20.
Rank 20. All right, very impressive. Highest of the lower.
I see that he has a 15 streak on Meepo on his profile.
Uh-oh.
Just saying.
Okay, something to keep in mind. Now, gang, we got a draft here, so let's go hop into the trees, see what's going on deep into the wilderness.
His in-game name is 144 ping player. That's the SA life, baby.
Well, some familiar bands with a different first pick, the Keeper of the Light, and a snap response right into IO. Okay, now we've been wondering where the IO has been. And what the hell, these guys, man, they know exactly what they want. A lot to digest here. Coddle Ember for Gorillaz-Pride and Wisp Leshrac for Crewmates. So, and I like how Wisp is in the ground here instead of floating. So he's ready to launch into infinity. He's the power source for the whole team.
He sees Leshrac and he's hiding. It's like, I'm not tethering that guy.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, do we think this is a support or a core Wisp? Most likely.
As far as I remember, Crewmates games, they play support IO, but
okay.
We'll see about that. And also, this Coddle guy, we didn't see a lot of Coddle, but this hero had at least in Europe CIS, the hero's showing up quite a bit. So pretty curious to see how they're gonna pair that. I've seen a lot of Wraith King Coddle just because you get just a good lane. The stun duration gets pretty low, but there are other combinations. We saw Bristleback yesterday. I think Coddle can be a good 4 as well. We'll see.
Yeah, I noticed that as well when I was watching some of the Europe and CIS games. I was surprised to see how prioritized he was compared to the other regions, but
yeah,
everyone's just sort of going their own way. I also looked at China, and I think Witch Doctor hasn't even been touched, whereas yesterday when we were talking all about him and everything, it's totally ignored. It's I think they're more on the OD hype train than we are here too, because we've had games where he's also been totally ignored, whereas now he's first phase banned.
He's coming up though. I think OD is starting to spread. He's going to be a universal truth before too long. But I think Coddle's one of these supports that he's got certain players that really, really like him. I always think of Insania. I can imagine who are some other GH. Somebody on Secret. I don't think it's Yapsor. Is he their Coddle player? I guess it's Puppy. Puppy Coddle. Yeah. But there's just a lot of players in that region as well that I think of have been big Coddle fans whenever the hero's strong. And of course, we're back to old Coddle now for anyone who's missed this new patch. Recall has returned. So, he's now that global beast again at the expense of his ultimate. But, love me some global presence.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this Lash IO thing is pretty busted. One of the disadvantages of Leshrac early on is that did I say IO Coddle? I meant IO Leshrac. He's pretty squishy. You want to go for items like Travels or U-Scepter, but when you have an IO, you're so tanky. You can force those early towers. You're even faster than normal. So I really like this. I feel like if the IO has a good game, the Leshrac can just go nuts.
5 seconds remaining.
I like that too, actually. I'm always into IO, I like the fact that I don't necessarily want the hero to be like a first phase ban for every single game, like sometimes it winds up, but it's always been an interesting hero over the past 6 or 7 years. I mean, honestly, since TI2 and mostly TI3, obviously. That was the one where most people think about IO. But since then, it's been pretty much constantly in the meta. There have not been a lot of patches where IO's been completely ignored that you haven't at least had the respect ban for
key teams
for your team. Yeah, exactly, your key players specifically.
But I was just going to mention
about this.
So this
looks like core.
This is something we've seen, the double heal type strat with Wisp. The IO Undying was a really popular one there. I
think it's a lane partner with the IO.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Gives him
That
a lot of
sounds kinda nasty.
sustainability. Yeah. I would not underestimate Cora Baden. He is really annoying to deal with. The right clicks are just, they don't stop. They just keep coming and you keep getting silenced.
He thwacks on you.
He really does.
It just feels like they have no stuns, right? And the Lashrak, it doesn't really have a reliable stun on top of it. Oh, I really liked his green stroke response. You know that Io is always going to be connected to someone, so pretty easy to land your ult. Is that that core green stroke, the mid green stroke that we saw in a couple of games here?
I don't know if it has to be.
Yeah, he doesn't have
feels-
to. But
Yeah, it feels like there's enough value that we can at least wait out on it. If they had 10th
True,
pick,
true.
I'd be a little bit more inclined to think that we might wind up there, but I
there's a
feel like this will
number
wind up
already.
being support.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
By the way,
crewmates.
our boy Hector here did play a game of Carry Abaddon recently. Not sure
Mhm.
Oh,
if you know crewmates have been watching, but he did play one game. And he
yeah,
won.
it could be Abba Io in the safe lane. That would be weird.
10
But-
seconds remaining.
I guess it could be. Rubik now, some very solid steals.
Yeah, they just have flexibility all over the place, right? They have two heroes
Yeah.
that can go 3 in both the Lesh and the Abba. The Rubik and the Io are pretty interchangeable depending on who the pairing is with Rubik. You can make that position one work. And you were mentioning Timo and all of his grinding. I actually noticed when you look at his profile, he's like super high Dota Plus levels on some of your like more traditional carries, like Terrorblade or Morphling and everything. But right now,
10
he
seconds.
earns silver tier for
Radiant
Wraith King,
team
earns silver tier for Ricky, earns silver tier for Weaver. So he's very specifically grinding these high meta heroes right now, right? Like the
Yeah.
guy, maybe he hasn't been like a traditional Weaver player before, but I like the fact that he is like really getting into these important heroes
10
right now.
seconds remaining.
Adapting to the times.
Yeah.
Hallmark of a good carry player. A
5
necessity, in
seconds
fact.
remaining.
Bugs
this is
very
the
annoying
stuns.
against Wisp too.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Weaver, there you
Yeah.
go.
Here's the thing though. So you're talking about like you don't have all the stuns necessarily on crewmates, but you also just picked Weaver into Rubik. So like this must show that they think it's a really good Weaver game. Just because like the other stuns are so bad that they don't really mind
Yeah.
giving away Shikuchi.
Yes.
Dire
Yeah.
team back.
I mean, isn't this what you
I
always
agree.
worry about when you open with Wisp? For all of the Wisp benefits, she's got no disable, and that's something Abaddon's a little bit light on. The Lesh stun is a skill shot.
And
yeah,
look at the bans instantly from from G
Slardar.
Prime.
Slardar
sinking.
sinking, major control.
Yeah.
They need some kind of AoE reliable stunner here. Part of me wants to go like, you know, a
10 seconds
excuse me, Tidehunter-esque hero, but I think you need something shorter cooldown, more like that Slardar that's a
5
lot more
seconds
ready to go
remaining.
when you need him.
What do you pick here if you really want to stun on the side of crewmates? Is there?
They have on crewmates, yeah. I mean they have like axe and stuff theoretically left, but then your games are still kind of weird.
maybe
They could do like offlane DK if they play it.
maybe
Or they could mid DK
Nyx
too.
could be an option. I don't know. I think Nyx is pretty good versus
Oh, he's first
Ember.
banned.
Oh yeah.
Come on, buddy. It's Nyx Assassin. What are you
Jesus,
talking
dude.
about?
2021.
You guys heard of that hero Nyx?
10th pick
He's
Nyx
pretty good this
Assassin.
patch.
Get the hell out of
Bo,
here,
you think
man.
he's good right now?
5 seconds.
I want some of whatever you got, man. Jeez.
Oh boy. I mean this is rough. I don't know what's the pick for them here. I guess you can go for like a Chaos Knight. Offlane CK, you know, so good sometimes, and I feel like the Dispel. It's
You're
not
still
bad
on
here. You have
Crewmates,
Kato
right?
Ember.
Or who are you talking about right now?
For crew.
CK.
Crewmate,
I feel
okay.
like-
No,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
which team? Yeah. All right, Centaur now for Gorillaz-Pride. Well, there you go. A lot of mobility now. Weaver, Centaur, and Ember Spirit.
Pretty cool combo with the Grimstroke too, with the double edge.
Yeah.
So it does a little bit of work. We also have
True.
Grimstroke Weaver, which Liquid abused a lot in the past, right? With
Inkswell.
the multi-hero
10
Inkswell.
seconds remaining.
Mhm.
All right, well, they have a minute 40 in
seconds
reserve to think
remaining.
about this. So no need to rush.
True.
Still, I mean, this is also flex because we don't know, like Lesh Abaddon could play a variety of roles.
Monkey? They could. Monkey 1, Lesh mid.
Off lane Abba.
I
Yeah.
like that actually. It's a good lane versus the Centaur, and yeah, I'm not sure if that's their plan, but I like it.
No.
I feel like it would make sense.
They
Because
could
I think if
Ursa
you want to
as well.
do the... Yeah, because you can do the Io and the Monkey, or you could do the Abba and the Rubik. Like you can... with that, or you can do like Monkey and Rubik together because he's probably a strong enough laner to facilitate a 5 Rubik, I would think, if you're practiced at it.
Yeah. I don't hate Ursa, though. With
The
Lisp
matchup versus
and
Weaver
Abaddon.
is weird, though, because like it's really hard for the Ursa. He just gets kited a lot. I guess they do have the Abaddon shield to deal with the chains.
And you have the speed from the Wisp. I mean, you're right. It's not ideal, but you shred the
I
Centaur
wonder if they
so
just
hard,
double
though.
down on Siege and just go like terribly, you know? Yeah, don't have stuns, but you just group and you just
raid
bring the
boss it
fight to
down.
Gorillaz-Pride. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly an
I
option.
think they might still go back for a 3 too.
Mhm.
I like this idea of trying to find
Whoa!
big stun.
Carry Abaddon.
Okay, so this is one of the scenarios I pictured. I called that Tidehunter, but I actually don't like it that much. I'm worried that it's a little too cooldown reliant and abusable. Yeah, Gorillaz-Pride do have some cooldowns. You got your Stampede, you got the Coddle ult, but Ravage has felt very punishable in the handful of games I've seen Tide recently.
And he's picked into the Phantom's Embrace, which can
So
cause some
hard
issues
to deal
too.
with. Mhm.
Can you not
They
cracking
do
that
have
off?
the Abaddon, though.
Correct.
So, they can dispel it with the shield.
Oh yeah, it's weird. It's one of
So
those.
you can dispel it, but not cracking it. Okay, so semi-manageable, but
Yeah.
it's still just so much mobility. This looks like a hard game for Tide. I am excited to see the position 1 ABBA, though. So predictions, guys. What do we like here? Game 1, Crewmates, Gorillaz-Pride.
I think Gorillaz-Pride's draft is just easier to execute. They have the disengage from the IO relocate with the Centaur. We did talk about the lack of stuns. You know, Tidehunter is a stun, but every 2 minutes. So overall, I feel like the Gorillaz draft is better.
Yeah, I like the Coddles combo too. Like Coddle Ember, it's pretty busted. Coddle
Ooh,
Weaver
yeah.
has some stuff there too.
Yeah.
Overall, it just looks a little bit easier to play. I agree. So just by that nature, I'd go Gorillaz-Pride. But I also think they're probably just the better team.
Yeah.
Just, seeing Benjaz, I've gotten through so many names with this guy. Just gives me hope. So I'm going with Gorillaz-Pride.
I think Gorillas should be favorites just coming into the series in terms of where these teams are ranked in the lower division. But I'm pretty excited to see this ABBA. I'm cautiously optimistic that this could be a game where it works. It's a weird form of lockdown that we're forgetting about, and that silence can be handy against the Weaver, and it comes from right clicks. I'm excited to see what happens. But now on to the real experts, the gentlemen to carry the show. It's the Lamb and the Lion. It's Gary and Theben. Boys, it's your turn to take the spotlight.
Excellent. Cheers, lads. Yeah, good stuff. Good call on that Tidehunter pick, Zyura, as well. Comes out in the end, even if you don't like it. Theben, though, I think the panel brought up a good point in terms of cooldowns here. One team reliant on big ultis, cooldowns. The other reliant on Ember Spirit with Grimstroke running around killing everyone.
Yeah, it's very true. I think Gorillaz-Pride, they got the very simple game plan. On the other side, Radiant, they got a bit more of a complicated game plan, but IO carry, man. That's what it is. I think it's gonna have a lot of impact this game. IO plus Tidehunter together, I think we've seen that ran by OG before, but that was a mid-tide, obviously. And one thing I really didn't like by Gorillaz-Pride is they pick Weaver into the Rubik. Like, this hero is gonna just steal your Shikuchi and run around and cause so much chaos in all the team fights. And that might just be all the disables they would need in the early stages to get like 1 or 2 kills and then group up together and take towers.
Well, an interesting play there. Jumping out onto Leshrac, though, with that Inkswell Shikuchi. But Lesh is
That's
speedy.
5v5.
He's turned with a stun. It is a 5v5
Oh,
fight before the
Weaver.
runes even spawn. Timo, he pops his sticky. Shikuchi's out. He is safe. Awkward walk up to that high ground, though, as it looked like the crewmates were all ready and waiting for them.
Damn, it's like, you guys ain't taking this bounty rune. That's ours.
And also the Kotl warded, and then I don't know if someone spotted him warding, but he immediately dewarded it, and now he's warded under a Radiant Observer. So both early observers from Gorillaz-Pride, they're going to get dewarded.
Yeah, I hope they saw it. Did they ping it out? Because sometimes, if the Kata could have planted it from the fog in the mid area, and maybe they wouldn't have seen the ward being planted there.
I'm pretty sure they pinged it, but we'll see what happens. Lesh does have a sentry queued up, so very likely going to be bringing it out to himself. So yeah,
Right.
these lanes, Weaver plus Grim top lane, very, very powerful against this Rubik and Tidehunter. Bottom is the Centaur Kotl up against the IO Abaddon. Carry IO, we'll come back to that in a second. And of course, Lesh against Ember mid, should be a tasty one there. between Analog and Tout. So IO carry, Theban. How do we play this
It's good,
nowadays?
man. It's good. You just go the Soaring, the Dominator. You buy like some BKB or whatever helps you stay in the team fights, and you just kind of go around with your creeps and just spirits.
Just spirits.
Top though. Yep, just spirits.
Yeah, this is the strength of that Inkswell Shikuchi. First blood spilled on the Rubik. So difficult to counteract that speed, the aggression. Just level 1.
Yeah, the problem is the Rubik was playing on the wrong side of the lane. He needs to be on the right side, poking away at the Grimstroke and using his Fade Bolt on the Weaver plus the creep to secure the last hits. But instead, he was on the left side where Gorillaz-Pride can just run him down. And he doesn't really have a lot of areas that he can run away to.
Yeah, even with boots up first.
It really shouldn't happen in those situations.
Let's see if he can recover, though. Looks like the Abaddon IO sticking it to this Kotal and Centaur. Trying to give chase. I'll just keep the Keeper of the Light out of the lane or away from that creep wave for now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good lane. I mean, Abaddon can just constantly be tethered, get his mana and HP healed up a little bit by the IO. Then you can use the Mist Coil on the IO to heal both of you.
Yeah, and he's got Ring of Bassy.
Really nice. Yep, very smart. I mean, they planned this out already. You know, the moment, like when we saw the draft, how they just picked the first 2 heroes on both sides instantly, that means they already pre-planned what their strategy was going to be for the game. Like both of the teams.
Yeah, they knew exactly what was coming. Well, Abaddon can come back and maybe pull the camp. Reset that lane equilibrium. And up at top, Tidehunter wandering across. Does have vision here of the Grim stacking and pulling. He's got himself 1-1-1 build on Tide,
Rubik
but they're
again.
chasing the Rubik, you're right. Inkswell Shikuchi with the swarm.
Ooh, that damage.
Easy pickings.
That's what happens when you give away first blood. They just keep going after you now.
Running at you non-stop. It does allow Tide to clear through a bit of that stack, take out a creep wave, but now Hijack is left in a rough spot where he's going to have to go back to his tier 1, salve Mango, and then try and wander back into lane with the Rubik.
Did you tell us who you got for this game?
Did I? Gorillaz-Pride, I think. Looking at, I really like Grimstroke. He's getting chased down by the Rubik now, though. Oh, close to death. Final anchor smash. Secures it for him. Teemo's still giving it a good old crack on the Tidehunter. Just Shikuchi has his one to fall back on.
What you were trying to say was you like Grimstroke dead.
No, I mean, okay.
Oh, okay. Because that's what just happened after you said that. So.
It was really sad, yeah. No, I really like Grimstroke as a hero, but I think when you pair him up with Weaver, with Ember, with Ricky, you know, these heroes that can not only gap close, but they are the carry. You know, they're just enabled so nicely by him.
Right. I mean, the thing about Gorillaz-Pride is they don't have a lot of disables against Weaver. I mean, they have this Weaver who doesn't play against a lot of disables, but... Oh, actually, there's a battle right now for the Rubik first.
Yeah, the Edict is there.
Goodbye.
They'll find him. Rotation in from both supports of Crewmates as Dismar also dying to the Lesh. A double kill for Analog. And the rune to refill his bottle, which is an arcane.
Man, that level 3 Diabolic Edict is not a joke for Ember. Like, he really wanted that rune badly, but he had to respect the fact that Leshrac and Abaddon were already on top of that.
Oh, and 4.5 minutes in, they finally deward it. Yeah, 4 minutes later.
More XP and gold. So I was saying, like, this Weaver is pretty good against the Radiant lineup in terms of, like, not being a lot of disables, but if they decide to group up as 5 and push down towers with the Leshrac and the Tidehunter leading the way, the Weaver can't really join that fight, can he? Like, he needs to wrap around, go from the back, but Io, Rubik, like, these are not easy heroes to kill. Especially when the Rubik steals a Shikuchi.
Yeah, like, it used to be that Weaver was a carry pick you'd actually draft against Io, when Io used to be really only support. Because you'd be able to gap close the Io, get the swarm on him, stop him from healing people. But when it's a carry Io, yeah, we'll see if the Weaver can do the same job.
That's the big difference. This is a carry IO, and maybe Gorillaz-Pride really didn't think about the possibility of that when they drafted it.
Yeah, maybe so. Tidehunter now with a bottle for himself. but here comes the Shikuchi Inkswell. Trying to chase him, doesn't connect. Good little move into the trees by the Tide. And they missed the Stroke of Fate too.
Radiant structures are
They also got a bunch of pressure middle right now with the Leshrac Arcane Rune.
And the Rubik and Abaddon are both here again. They're trying to utilize the creep wave with a catapult. Abaddon going to shield himself, and Kotl trying to defend this lane for the Ember Spirit as well.
Kottl's done a really good job at just being here before the catapult started hitting the tower and just started blasting away at the creep waves. If he wasn't here,
Nice.
this Leshrac would have done so much damage.
Good deny on the DD rune
Flash.
too, and they're chasing Flash. Ember Spirit's got this one, surely. One more Remnant and a slice from his sword.
Not your best.
Nah.
Return
Remember
back to
the
lane.
Remember the dark days of Miscoil, Abaddon just like denying
Suiciding.
himself. Yep. The dark days.
Yeah, super glad that doesn't exist anymore. Pudge and Abaddon just denying themselves all the time.
Is it Abaddon or Abaddon? What is it?
So in game, his voice lines, he calls himself Abaddon, but the name is some, like, it's a super old, like, mythological, I can't remember, like, demon or something. So there's no actual, like, English pronunciation for it, so you can call him whatever the hell you want.
Ah, that's good. Always call him Abaddon.
Oh, this
don't
Ember
get the stun
Spirit.
off, though.
Oh god, Remnants away.
Yeah, that level 1 lift really doesn't last a long time. The Leshrac didn't even realize, like, by the time he realized the lift came off, he didn't even go for the stun. It was too late already.
Thanks be to you.
Yeah, an interesting little fallback here by the Io into the jungle. That's because his Helm of the Dominator is nearly done. That's going to be his timing he's
Yep.
looking for. And we also saw the
That's
Centaur,
right.
like, rotate mid.
Oh, are you gonna get his Leshrac back to the base? Get some free refills here? Kinda low.
Yeah. Free fountain trip. Refill all the bottles
Once the
up.
IO gets the Dominator, like, he just ends up being in the jungle forever. Won't really, come out of there. And then the Centaur is gonna have massive amount of free farm bottom. He's actually the top net worth. He has more farm than the Weaver, who has 2 kills.
That's an insane amount of farm. What is it? 3.7k net worth on him and Weaver, yeah. Gets a chipped vest for the Centaur as well. Great item. As the Ember Spirit does get chased down by the Abaddon and Rubik. Don't think he's under any real kill threat here, though, as he can just chains and walk away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
He's
attack.
just annoyed
Oh, Tidehunter's coming, though.
with 2 supports. Oh,
Tidehunter has Ravage. Oh, he's
Nah,
got,
it
he's
doesn't
got the
use
Remnant
it.
into mid, but the Leshrac was ready and waiting for him. And he's
Ooh,
just
he's
going
dead.
to shred him with that magic damage. I guess it's primarily physical with the Diabolic Edict to level 4 now, actually.
Hey, it looked like they weren't gonna really do anything to the Ember, but they annoyed him enough where he just had to get out into a bad position.
I guess he was getting ravaged if he didn't do that. Dead one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Maybe it
under
would have been
attack.
better if he just got ravaged and died instead of leaving that ravage off cooldown still.
Force it out. Well, Io, Helm of the Dominator, it has arrived. Hellbear smashes here. We'll see if this guy just sticks in the jungle, like you say, continue accelerating and farming. So the rest of his team is doing pretty well. Holding out on these other lanes. Oh, what's Weaver up to? Maelstrom's done, rushed it straight off the bat. Looks like back into treads for him. Ember Spirit maybe heading into the Deso. For now, it's just Blightstone, the Phase Boots. I guess it could be like Orb of Corrosion, could be a number of builds on these Ember Spirits nowadays, couldn't it?
Yeah, there's been more and more of these Desolator builds being built. I'm not a huge fan of that build, at least. I prefer like the Maelstrom, the magic damage oriented builds, because your carry typically wants to go to physical damage. So if you go physical damage too on your Ember, sometimes there could be a little bit of an overlap there.
Abaddon. Getting stampeded by the Centaur.
Want to steal a bounty,
Yeah, he
got
tried.
caught.
But they're still not putting any real pressure. Like, he's that vanguard. He's that front line. Recon. Making sure he knows where the dire heroes are. And that just allows his Io and Lesh just to keep on going. Getting
He's
closer
having
to
a
their
dream
next
game on
items.
Benjas. Absolute dream game. Like, he's going to have Blink by, I want to say, 12 and a half minutes. maybe 13 minutes. And once he has that, like, they can just non-stop fight.
With Hood and FaZe.
Exactly. That's...
Oh, sorry, I forgot the Bracer as well. That's an incredibly important little item there. Coming down to bottom lane, they need a kill on this IO. We'll see.
Io's got to get out. He's got to know the rotation's coming.
Oh, he's speedy though. Trouble is, Inkswell Ember Spirit is there connecting on him, and there's no escape for him nor the Hellbear. Oh, go kill the Hellbear, guys. It's easy money.
Top tower is under attack.
I just let it be.
It's a 10. That's a 10-minute rotation with the to the catapult by G-Pride, and Io being bottom lane at that point. Very big mistake. They will trade the towers though. They got the last track with the level 4 Edict top.
Bottom tower has fallen.
It's gonna be an easy take.
Yeah, and Kotl can't really defend against it. Like, he can spam out these Illuminates, but they've kept the catapult alive really nicely. Tanking up the tower hits. Making sure Carty stays up and running.
Dire's top tower has
And yeah, going back to the point you made about the 5-man group up of crewmates, when the Tidehunter gets this Arcane's mech, when he gets the Greaves, they'll have so much sustain between him, the Abaddon, the Io. It is going to be difficult. Like, G-Pride don't have a large amount of immediate nuke damage. They can nicely grab someone with a Soulbind, a Centaur Stomp, but it's very much...
Kill top.
Oh yeah, Leshrac. That's a simple one. Analog dominating now, 4-0 and 0.
Yeah, so they got like a bunch of poke damage, right, on Dire team, which is gonna get completely countered out by the sustain they have on crewmates. That's what it sort of feels like. So I think G-Pride, they're gonna need to split push really hard, make crewmates split up on the map, get the kills on the side lanes. Because if they join any team fights like 5v5, I really can't see how G-Pride are gonna take these engagements unless they really, I don't know, catch crewmates off guard, kill off the Rubik and the Abaddon right away, which is extremely difficult as we mentioned before.
Like a perfect Soulbind and a 2-man stomp on the IO Leshrac, something like that. Maybe
Yeah,
could open things up
but
for
even
them.
then, you got the cover of the Ravage, so maybe you need to silence the Tide.
Stampede top.
Oh, they get... That's a
Blanket
good
stomp.
kill.
That is a really
That's
great
a
pick-off.
huge kill.
Blink reveal for the Centaur.
So Analog is, to be honest, the real carry in this draft, right? Because he's the one that they're looking to boost with the Abaddon, Shield, the heals. The IO is going to probably tether onto a Leshrac too later on. So getting a kill on that Leshrac is absolutely enormous.
Put a stop to his run on that top lane as they also catch out the Abaddon. Swinging southwards, G-Pride find a secondary kill. Teemo now the one that's dominating.
Very nice. Not trying to get those head-on team fights, picking off the Leshrac top first, making the map 4v5, and then looking for the next kill.
Yeah, and Ember Spirit does shift into the Maelstrom. He's listened to you.
Dire's bottom tower
Goes for that
is
magic
under
damage, bit of poke. Rubik has Shikuchi.
Yep, pesky
away.
Rubik. He farms so much once he gets Shikuchi, and then you also have the kill threat too. Like, look at him, he's just hunting the Weaver. Like, he's a real threat to this Weaver right now.
It's going to do a lot of damage to him.
Boom.
A nice Centaur stomp with the telekinesis. Great.
And that's exactly why you don't give Shikuchi away. I mean, that's why you don't pick Weaver into Rubik, because you can die like that.
Just straight up.
That was such, yeah, a really nice Centaur stun too, though. Like, it was like the perfect creep, right, for the situation too.
Dire's
I think anything else there, time lapse happens, and he probably gets away as the Weaver.
are fortified.
Mid lane defense now, though, and this is where things get a little bit hairy for Gorillaz-Pride. They are walking into a Hood Tide with Ravage ready, and level 4 Edict makes short work of the tier 1, meaning there is no defense of the tower, and Gorillaz-Pride all grouped up for seemingly nothing.
And so much healing given to the Leshrac too. He's got a Hood now. He's even tankier, going for that Shroud build.
Tower is under attack.
Nice. The Eternal Shroud. So they're going to have Shroud.
auto.
Full Scepter on Kotl, yeah. They've also done a lot of damage to the Weaver,
no.
forcing the time lapse. Teemo close to death, honestly, in that situation.
Yeah, Ravage was not there. That would have been the only follow-up disable, and he was already making his way towards mid.
They're still pinging out that top lane, though. Io He's been left alone here, and that's the Centaur initiation helped out by the Grimstroke. It's a lot of damage. IO, he's tanky, but with the Weaver's arrival again, they do bring him down pretty nicely.
Gotta be careful on going by yourself on the side of crewmates.
In that top lane especially, right?
Yeah, it's the same place the Leshrac died earlier.
If you're gonna
They're
be
strong
there.
when they're together as 5. Very, very, very weak when they split up on the map.
Yeah, time to utilize this Tidehunter, I think. Arcane Rune, full pipe, Greaves queued.
Ooh. Arcane, bottled Arcane Rune Tidehunter.
Feels good, man.
That does
Let's
actually
go.
feel good. They definitely want to use a Ravage in the next 2 minutes.
I think he wants level
That
12
Valley
first.
Ravage.
He's probably like, guys, let me get level 12. Use the Arcane Rune at the very end. Give him
I
solo
hate that.
experience mid lane. But you
It's
hate
like the worst thing when you're playing Dota and someone's like, "Oh, wait for this," and you know, like deep down, you have a feeling like we should fight right now. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
take advantage of this second, because every time you wait, the more opportunities you give for your opponent. Oh man,
It's like you're all grouped up as 5 and your Shadow Fiend needs, 500 gold for BKB. He's like, just wait for BKB, it's 1 minute.
all right, that's a little bit different though. Like you need that BKB. That's a pretty big item,
But sometimes you
something
don't
like-
need BKB. Sometimes you could just
Yeah,
kill them all
that's-
without
that's
it.
True. That's true.
Like that, Rubik dies. No, there's no BKBs
no.
here.
Yep. See, because they didn't group up already with this Arcane Rune and waiting for the level 12, now the Rubik gets picked off bottom. And now you're waiting another like 30 seconds for the Rubik to respawn. And now G-Pride have another opportunity to find another pick off. Oh man. It just kind of starts unraveling from there.
And now the TP's top. Looking to defend tier 2 means the Weaver's just going to get jumped on. Again, this top lane area, dangerous for the Radiant. The Weaver's being sustained by the Abaddon though.
Oh, the Soulbind.
Trying to get the relocate out and he succeeds. The Soulbind comes, catching the last
Tide's
of the
coming, though.
Abaddon, but Tide's arrived. Arcane Rune ready with Ravage level 2, but he's silenced up. The Phantom's Embrace is
He's
up on
coming
him.
to Leshrac.
He has to try and kill off the bug. Now the Ravage does land. It's a decent
Shield
one.
the Lesh.
Leshrac needs help though. Self-fuels up. The Centaur stands his ground. A double kill for Tau as the Ember Spirit shreds through them with a sleight of fist. And Tidehunter slowed his advance. Not looking too hot as Gorillaz-Pride, they stay 5 heroes alive.
I think we called it, Gary. They waited for the level 12.
They did.
And
It was too late.
G-Pride. It was too late. G-Pride just took full advantage of the fact that the crewmates were playing so passively on the map.
It's a really great
Started.
sequence of events, like the pick off on Rubik bottom lane, like you said, then into that jungle to defend. Now, mid lane, encroaching on that tier 1, but Tidehunter just plonks his big body in the line of
It's
fire.
got 1 more minute now on that Ravage. And because of the awkward team fights, Tidehunter Ravage was also very awkward, right? They didn't have all the heroes alive. I'm still waiting for the moment where crewmates actually group up together as 5.
Go play some Dota. They're waiting for their shrouds. Io and Lesh both going for Eternal Shroud.
Huh.
Here
The
we go.
Aghanims plus the Shroud. Yeah, that's a lot of healing. Potential healing.
And Essence Ring. On the Io anyway. But crewmates do smoke.
Just... Oh,
They're making a move top. Is that a
I want the
Shikuchi
tier
Rubik
2.
again? Of course it is. He's got Shikuchi. He's hunting in the trees. Oh, Kotal.
He has no plans of changing that Shikuchi.
He even dusts for him. Knows that the Kotal has Glimmer Cape. And I'll go hunting in the forest.
The waves kind of push though. They can't really get to the tier 2 tower.
They have to def mid also. Because that's a slight chain stomp. Hijack half HP. Forced to pop the pipe. Now a stampede. Running forward. Gorillaz-Pride. They want the Tide. They've got the Soulbind. Well placed on the Io. And that Tidehunter as they shred him. But the Io does tether back. And a stolen Soulbind turned with a Fade Bolt. They've got a 2-man lift as well. But the Abaddon, he's falling. Kotal dying top lane, but it is a slaughter fest in the mid as 3 heroes are annihilated by Gorillaz-Pride, and the crewmates just don't have a response. Lesh is like, sod it, I'm out of here, I'm farming jungle. Because they've also got a pick off on the Io who's come back into the midst of them all. Wait, does Lesh die as
That
well?
hit.
Weaver's hunting.
Nah, he should be fine, right? There's no way.
You say
Abaddon is
this?
alive in like 3 seconds.
Look
Oh,
at
that's
the
a lot
amount
of
of damage
damage,
Teemo's doing. Holy shit. Nice, Yule's up. You're right, the Abaddon will arrive. Split Earth there, but the two-man chains. Catching out Analog with a deep flash. They don't have borrowed time, so they're going to lose the Abaddon and the Lesh.
Wow.
Both of them die.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
A sudden turn of aggression there. I mean, Gorillaz-Pride, they flick the switch. They realize that Crewmates are just too passive.
Yep, I mean, they made a kill top, and then they instantly reacted to the pressure of Gorillaz-Pride, but they only brought the Tidehunter alone to mid tower. So they just jumped him. No Abaddon there to help him out to defend that tier 1. Super awkward. Rubik also traded his Shikuchi for the Soulbind. So he had no way of just maneuvering around that last team fight as well.
Yeah, like it looked like a decent Soulbind, but the follow-through just wasn't there. Like, great plays by the Rubik. But the rest of his squad unable to capitalize on that situation. So we're now in a 7k net worth lead spot for Gorillaz-Pride. When this game was pretty dead even, not even 4 or 5 minutes ago. Starting to snowball out of contention for the Crewmates.
Yeah, Gorillaz-Pride just completely outplaying them on the map right now, not letting Crewmates group up whatsoever.
Do you still think that their kind of draft and strategy can hold true for Crewmates? Can they still group up as 5 and make things work? Or is time just
They've
running
made
out?
like about, let's say, 5, misplays in terms of what they should be doing on the map, but they still have the potential to be able to group up together and fight. They just gotta stop splitting up. Like, look at this Leshak once again getting picked here.
Yeah, it is just a
Io's
travesty.
next.
I mean, there's the same place, the same time, every step of the way. They are getting ganked in that top lane. Lesh and Io. Out of position, no Abaddon, no Tide, no one near them to team fight, and this Ember Spirit is 1v2ing in the mid lane. He's reventing around, he wants this Abaddon dead, and he looks like he might get it. Oh, the Rubik arrives. Make sure the
They got the
D-Flash...
pipe, the mech.
Yeah.
They had a lot of ways to keep that Abaddon alive at least.
Radiant's top tower is
I mean,
under
at some
attack.
point they gotta get mad and be like, guys, just stop getting picked off and go
Radiant's
together.
top tower.
But
They need that carry.
It's not yet happening.
Like, usually it's your carry, right? Your anti-mage, your whoever. Ricky is like, guys, I'm strong, I'm ready, follow me, let's go. But who is that player? Who is that hero on Crewmate's side right now?
It's gotta be Tidehunter. He's enormous.
Right.
He's got a pipe, a mech, and he's gotta be like, yo, guys, they can't kill me if you just play behind me. Come on.
Do you think that's sometimes a problem, though? Because usually, you know, the emphasis is on the pos 1 or pos 2. If it's the off laner saying I'm ready, but your carries don't feel like they are, is there a bit of maybe dissonance going on?
Yeah, sometimes. But you gotta pull them. You know, sometimes you gotta help your teammates out, especially when they're having a bad game. Like this Io, you know, he's 1-4. Leshak, he's got some kills, but if they're having a bad game and you're the one having a good game, you gotta help them out. You gotta be like, yo, just trust me, let's go together. You know, you're gonna get some kills in this next fight. Just play behind me. I'll use my body. You know,
Just
get
take
some
them by the
confidence
hand.
to your boys. Exactly. You gotta galvanize your team.
Strength through fire. The fire of battle will bring us together, team. Just follow Hijack and everything will be good. But look, Lesh is sitting top under a dire observer ward.
That's a yikes. I mean, Centaur, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this Centaur, he's 1000% the MVP of this game so far.
He's got a heart
from the laning stage. Yeah, he's almost got a heart. From the laning stage to like the moment he got Blink, playing on the right places, the smokes into the right locations. He's
The
been
jump
owning.
on the Abaddon, forcing the borrowed time, stunning the Tide. He is just the
Weaver.
frontline boss. And Weaver with
Doing
a
the
DD
Roshan.
rune. They're
Gotta get some
poking
vision in
here,
there.
trying to wander forward, but Tide just keeps getting silenced. And that's Aegis now for the Dire as the jump. Stomp, 2 men caught. Io, Lesh, the 2 big cores. There's the Soulbind now. They're being trapped inside with the chains, the sleight of fist. They are clearing up out. Gorillaz-Pride are looking good. They're chasing them down, and Tide and Lesh have both fallen. Io tries relocating, but they've got just enough time to get him back to Fountain while the Abaddon is left stranded.
Oh no, Abaddon.
But now what, Io? Tether back to the Rubik? Maybe you can give it a shot. Let's see this stomp from the Centaur. Gets him mid-tether,
cancelled.
mid-air, cancels it out, and it's Io dead to rights. Disaster around the Roche pit as the Rubik. Oh, he's got Shikuchi. And no reveal on Ember Spirit. Remnant. Oh, he saw him. He caught a glimpse of him. Flame Guard into the Ghost Scepter and the chains.
On the outpost. He walked into the outpost. Gave vision.
Yeah, to be fair, there are also 2 sentries covering both entrances as well. So no matter where Rubik went, he was covered.
Sort of feels like crewmates have lost this game before they even got to start playing it. Essentially. Down a lot of gold now. I love that about Gorillaz-Pride though. They never forced the 5 versus 5 fights. They always just went for the picks and farming off those picks. And now that they got their items, they got that BKB on the Weaver and the Ember Spirit, they feel like they can 5v5 now. Because the Ravage is not a problem anymore.
Yeah, the turnaround play not there for crewmates. They'll have Grieve soon, but it just doesn't feel like the sustain is up to scratch anymore. It's just not hitting the spot. And the carry IO, a nifty idea. He farmed well, he got his items, but so far hasn't really accomplished anything. He's 1 and 5, and he's just been farming jungle and splitting lanes. Bottom lane, that's a good catch on Rubik. Get rid of his Shikuchi, you bastard! Get out of my game! And up to high ground with a catapult wave. Yeah, absolutely. Tide has Ravage, but it doesn't feel like the crewmates want to defend this tier 3 at all. They're not coming down here. So does Tide need a Rapier then, Theban? Rapier and level 25, Daedalus?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, Tide might get Rapier for next game. I don't know about this one.
It's looking pretty over. At least they get a top tower. The objective they've been trying for the past, 15 minutes? Lost numerous core heroes in the battle for it, but it is down.
Well, do you consider 2 heroes going up there trying to get the tier 2? I don't know. It seemed like a very soft attempt at a tower take. A light attempt.
I mean, it took them like 6 attempts as well. Over and over again. 3,690 health on Centaur. Good luck, crewmates.
With the pipe. So that his effective HP is crazy.
And the new heart, I say new heart, but the buffed heart, I guess now. That HP regen just keeps on coming. A lift on Rune. Weaver just not going to accomplish anything. And snare the Centaur, cool. Gorillaz-Pride, that's really going to hurt their chances. Centaur just walks straight back up. Crewmates, you're going to have to attempt something, because this is not winning you the game. Wrap around, a smoke, run straight, head first into your opponents. Anything's better than just losing your barracks little by little. Maybe wait for a slip up from G-Pride, but you've initiated on the Centaur, and he's just not losing health. He's full staffed out, and he might have wanted, honestly, to go in. Root up the Lesh.
They're pretty healthy.
Who? Both teams?
Yeah, they're both pretty healthy. I mean, no one's really taking much damage. The Aegis is running out in about 10 seconds, so Gorillaz-Pride is just gonna get out. Like, the reason why they didn't go in is because the Centaur is poking away at the Rax, and the Rax isn't really dying. Doesn't have a lot of damage there, so...
If only the Rax could attack.
To hold. But you can see how, even though they're down like 20k gold, it's still hard for G-Pride to kill them when they're grouped up. I think G-Pride will continue to try and find some kind of a kill outside the base at least.
Here comes the Centaur. Oh, Remnant in. Ember Spirit. Oh, he lands the chains on the creeps, unfortunately. Io's going to relocate top and get some shove going.
Oh, wow. Centaur has another Reaver coming out.
What?
He's going for a second heart. Yep. And Ember has Aghanim's now, so there's no split pushing anymore, guys. This guy will catch you anywhere on the map.
You can frickin' Remnant from Fountain. You got no chances of running from him.
Never refuse gold. Give it.
Man, do you remember the old like Manta Centaur builds with the hearts?
Oh yeah,
Going to
Carry
towers
Centaur.
and
Yeah, that was AUI's favorite carry hero.
Was it
when he was
really?
playing carry? Yeah, he wanted to play like Centaur, safe lane carry every game. Tank up, buy Manta. Split push all the lanes like a Naga Siren.
walk up to high ground and let the towers kill themselves.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Weaver's got to do a little bit of lane maintaining because of that Io's move.
To be honest, Centaur is one of the more new player-friendly hero that's still in the game.
Olesh just about TP's home. They'll find the Abaddon on the left-hand side, though. Borrow time, yeah, he tried to TP with it, but Centaur's there with the stun. And Timo still has DD rune bottled on this Weaver.
I mean, I can't help but feel like he should just got an overwhelming blink, right, on the Centaur. I don't know if he needs a second heart.
That's a good point. I mean, he could still do it, right? Just don't buy the heart recipe?
Yeah, he can. Nah, he's gonna buy the heart. You know he is. He needs to assert dominance.
Multi-heart. Oh, Rubik, buddy. They don't see him. They see the smoke pop. Where are we going? Fade Bolt to stop the blink, and the Stampede stolen. Used up and sprints away. But mid lane, the Weaver and the Ember Spirit, they're on your barracks with a double damage rune finally popped by Timo. Glyph getting popped to try and hold on for this. And again, it's a situation where crewmates, they are just in this never-ending losing battle unless they make a move. Your buildings are getting whittled down little by little. Centaur able to scurry away thanks to the force staff from the Kotl.
Yep, got that second heart now up.
5,000
from the courier.
5,000 HP. What's this magic? Magic resistance 57%. Physical resist 46%.
What do you see as this health regen? It says 107, right?
I have 117.5.
117.5. Okay, mine's bugged then. Okay.
I've
Mine
noticed a
shows
lot of bugs
107.
like that recently. Like when people buy plate mail doesn't show the bonus armor value.
Yeah, when you're spectating the game, it's something like that. It's very deceiving.
There's some weird, funky stuff going on. It's also Cloak of Flames on this Centaur as well, like armor, magic resist, and the
So
immolation.
good. That's a
Perfect.
perfect item for a Centaur.
All right, buddy,
Even
walk
more
back up
magic
on high ground.
resistance.
All three lanes converging towards Radiant Base. They have been
I
hemmed
think
in.
He can just walk up there and look towards, the outside and just sit there. I don't think there's anything crewmates can do to the Centaur.
Just go up and give vision. Give vision for your Ember. Ember Spirit's currently giving vision for his team. 20 seconds for Roshan to respawn, and he is a ward.
He's going a third heart on Centaur.
Nah.
Alright, dude, come on. Just get the overwhelming blink. Come on. It's like... How much is that? It's 200 plus 200% of your... Or 100% of your strength. And he has about... over 200 strength right now. That's a lot of damage.
Okay, so what he's I understand now the strategy for Gorillaz-Pride. They don't want to end the game. They want to wait for the giant ring. The Centaur has made the call. He needs the game to be extended as long as possible. Get the giant's ring with the quadruple heart and the overwhelming blink.
Yeah, some real stat padding, eh?
Maybe with a second Roshan, they're able to close this one out. Aegis and Cheese in the hands of Gorillaz-Pride, and again, nothing that crewmates can do apart from sit in their base, twiddle their thumbs, and wait for the inevitable onslaught to come. In this kind of situation, like, what's going through your head as like a captain when all of your lanes are pushed in? What are your options apart from smoke out or wait?
It's like one more fight, guys. That's literally all you're saying. One more fight. Yeah, exactly.
We'll try
You're
one
just
more
hoping
time.
for some miracle 5-man ravage to occur.
Force on the lash pushes him away from tether. Weaver time lapses back into mid. The barracks finally going down a little bit faster. Tidehunter trying to position himself for a Ravage, but they've got the Stomp with a Will-O-Wisp. Analog Lesh self-fuels up. He's already enforced to Eternal Shroud and try and run back with a Stampede and a chase forward. Analog's going to die. Shredded as the IO gets caught up inside all the remnants from Ember Spirit. Blows him up. The power of fire here from Ember with that Centaur.
Radiant's middle barracks.
And that Cloak of
Arcane
Flames.
Rune.
Super, super nice from Gorillaz-Pride, not losing a single soul, and wow, that double-edged damage clears through about 70% of the Rubik's HP in one swipe. 300 damage plus 160% of his strength. A Ravage is there from Tide, it catches all 5. It's a miracle 5-man Ravage, but they don't have the damage. Weaver, time-lapse, Shikuchi's off to the left-hand side, very nearly about to fall, but has the Aegis in hand anyway. So it's not even like it matters in the end, and that is it, surely. With the final hero falling, Tidehunter will be the last casualty. As Gorillaz-Pride wipe Crewmates off the face of the map in game 1, 32-9. I can't... Crewmates.
I mean, Crewmates didn't even get a chance to play this game.